Are you with the local media here? Chris, he's a wonderful man. He's energetic, he's smart, he understands the system that we kind of run in Kansas City. He gets that. He's a very good evaluator. He's an excellent communicator. You guys got a good man. You got a family man who is passionate, loves the game of football. I mean, he's like a brother to me, and I wish him the best of luck. Well, what we do as an organization is any prospect that we have, we fully vet every player from A to Z. We turn over every stone. With Tyreek's case, we had done that. And we had multiple opportunities to meet different people, to do really deep research. And I think his journey of terms of, building his man, bringing himself back together and being remorseful. The journey started at West Alabama, where he began to get counseling and begin that rehabilitation. And then he comes to Kansas City. And then, that program, we put a program in place for him. And I'm so proud for him because he is beginning to grow as a man. And he's a good football player. And any football guy would tell you, if you can, lead as a good football player, but more importantly, lead as a good man, that's important. So that's my lesson.
The NFL Combine experience is now
I think
open.
When you come to the Combine, National Football League Combine, it's not a right, it's a privilege to come here, okay? And with that being said, I think the NFL has set some guidelines in place with regards to player conduct policy, which I totally support those policies, because there is a 2-month process, coming up here, and these players will be able to get fully evaluated before the draft does take place. So if it's not here, it will be on his campus site. Could be, or you could actually go to his pro day, and you could bring, your whole entourage down there. Well, I think you have to meet him as a person. He is a very humble man, and he is very remorseful for what he has done, and he understands that he has to mature and grow as a man. The process probably took us 4 months, and I'd say about 4 months is appropriate. Well, the funny thing about that deal, sometimes you may look at it as getting it done now. That whole process has been going on now for almost a year plus maybe in this thing. But the beauty of it is, first, a deal of this magnitude does not unfold unless you have the blessing of ownership. Okay, that's first and foremost. But the good thing about what we did is Eric's representatives were in town that Sunday. So what I decided to do is have all of us sit down as a group on Monday. We sat down for 10 hours as a group. We heard his side of it, myself, Trip McCracken, and Brant Tillis. We sat down and heard their sides of it. And what we did is we did a 10-hour face-to-face negotiations, which I think is very, very helpful. And at the end of the day, we will both come to an agreement that Eric Berry will be a Kansas City Chiefs. But the most exciting thing of the whole thing was not only did we get Eric Berry done, guess what? I had a chance to get my bag in my car, rush to the airport, hit the 8:25 Southwest direct flight to Indianapolis. And here I am.
For lack of a better word, how much of a relief?
He's a very special person, not only as a football player, but as an individual. I think that when you do a deal of this magnitude, I think it symbolizes what he is, what he means to the organization, what kind of leader he is within the building. I mean, he is a very beloved figure in Kansas City and will be here for a long time. You know what? I love the person and I love his ability to play the game of football. So I believe you said, what is my relationship with Laurent Duvernay-Tardif? the doctor. Love the guy. You know, he has exponentially grown since he has been a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. He has done nothing but take positive steps year in and year out. I thought it was philosophically what we've always tried to do was identify the young guys that we think we'd like to have moving forward. He was one of those guys, and we were lucky enough to strike a deal up. And I feel very good of where he is, and he will be here for some time. Well, everybody is going to try to make does the spread option change the offensive line position? Because very rarely do you see them getting 3-point stance. Majority of the time they're in 2-point stance. They technically are going to have to learn how to get their pads down and play with a little bit more leverage. You know what? Big guys, everybody wants big guys. And I think if you do your due diligence and you just work, you can find those big guys necessary to help you solidify your offensive line. Listen, we all like big guys. I had a great conversation with his representative yesterday just to inform him this year we're not going to use the tag for he, but I also let him know that I want to stay in the open line of communication because I don't like let good football players go. I consider him a really good football player. We'll let the process take its way out, but as long as that line of communication is open, I'd like to have him back. So we'll just let the process unfold as we go here. Well, I think it's just a decision we made as a group, and I thought it was best that we make this decision, but at no means it's not a slight on I just think he's a good football player, and if we have an opportunity to get him back, I'm going to fight like the Dickens to get him back too. Jamal Charles, to me, is one of the finest football players to play in the National Football League. I was talking to Andy yesterday, and Andy's going, he may be a Hall of Famer. And I thought, you know what, Coach, he may be. He's got some stats there to back that stuff up. These are hard decisions to make when you have a player of that magnitude, of that caliber. So what I have to do is, look down the road 2 or 3 years, make that, and just do what's best for the organization. I wanted to do it early. I thought that would be fair for a player of his magnitude. I thought that would be fair for Jamal to see if he wants to continue to play or not. But moving forward, I love the guy. He'll be one of those iconic players ever to put on the Chiefs uniform. Pretty good. When you say edge rushers, are you saying? Okay, because there could be, that rusher could be a 4-3 defensive end, it could be a 3-4 backer. I think the very first thing that I look for is the ability to get off the snap of the football. And then how fast can you get around the corner and in terms of hit that perfect angle. Everybody rushes the passer differently. Some guys do it with power, some guys do it with finesse, some guys do it with agility and quickness. So I think what you do is as you go through each respective draft class, you have to see what makes that player as an edge rusher or a pass rusher unique. And can he fit into your system? That's how I believe this. Well, we've all said each draft class is completely different. There are certain depths at certain positions. If you want me to identify a few of them, I'll give you a few, not many, but you'll probably already know. I think the wide receiver position has some depth to it. I think running backs has some depth. I think corners have some depth. Don't look too excited, guys. I've had practice. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif.
It seems like it's a lot of money for guards that just stated that their positions may be gone
Well, I think everybody values things differently. I like the player. I think his upside I think he has got a large upside. So I felt very comfortable where we were in that position and trying to lay that deal out. He is an incredibly disciplined, I mean, he's got unbelievable discipline. And he is very smart to grasp concepts and the football components of it. I think Andy Heck has done a great job of kind of showing him how to grow and nurture into the position. But and then when you combine that, he really is an explosive athlete. I know it's probably hard for you to imagine a 320-pound guy being an athlete, but he's pretty good at it. Well, the question was about Jabril Peppers and where does he, you're probably looking to see, is he an offensive player, is he a defensive player? I mean, where is he? He is a very unique athlete. East Orange, New Jersey. I mean, the guy is going to come here, he's probably going to blow the combine up. And I think it's whatever team selects him, where they feel most comfortable. Because, I mean, there's some people at one time thought he was a top 10 running back. Could have been a top 10 running back early in his career. And as you see, Donnie Brown now moves him over to the other side of the ball where he can try to work him up closer to the line of scrimmage. So now he's a dime linebacker. There's other times where you see him on the jet sweep reverse it. You just see him explode through the defense. So I do find he a fascinating study in terms of where do you play him. It was kind of like the study a couple of years ago, I think, when Shaq Thompson that the Panthers drafted. He was the running back linebacker guy. So everybody may not. It'll be interesting to see where at the end of the day people have him on their boards. Consistency, veteran leadership, passion for the game, smart fella. He's everything I thought he would be, and my long-term goal has always been to have like a stable offensive line. He just anchors the right side as well as Eric anchoring the left side. So you begin to build that cohesion along the offensive line, and he's helped there dramatically. It was one of the plans, yes.